Part 153. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1521. These words were something the ancestor of the Lin family had never said to him before. Now that he heard them, he actually understood why the ancestor of the Lin family was hiding. It seems that he is just hanging on for a breath, but in fact he is caring about the overall situation, and even allows people in the immortal world to despise him for fear of death. Zuyun no longer wanted to tease him, and simply said, "Brother Lin, actually, I am not Yexian, my real name is Zuyun." The ancestor of the Lin family dug his nostrils and didn't know if he dug out anything, so he flicked his little finger towards Zuyun. Zuyun's face turned dark. "I'm telling you something serious, but you're so disrespectful? I have known for a long time that you are not Yexian. Yang only told me that he is just a son. Moreover, he does not belong to this person, so where can he be a nephew?" Zuyun was stunned, and he learned more information from it. The relationship between Yang and the ancestor of the Lin family seems to be very good. "Brother Lin, why didn't you expose me before? The name and identity are just a code name. I have so many evil immortals imprisoned in Purgatory Mountain, and I never remember their names, only a string of numbers. It's interesting to say that it was the method Yang taught me. So, I don't want to know your name, it's enough that you are a good person. Great wisdom but foolishness." These four words suddenly appeared in Zuyun's mind. The ancestor of the Lin family continued, "In fact, it was Yang's idea to hide in the Tianfu space. And it was also what he said about letting me leave an heir on the yellow star. The most dangerous place is the safest. Really, I don't know what was going on in his head, but it really changed my life." Senior Yang. Zuyun was stunned. This was the first time he heard about Yang from an immortal. "Don't mention him, Yang is also a lunatic." The ancestor of the Lin family glanced at his mouth and said, "Although he is extremely crazy, he is also very principled. If I couldn't defeat him, I would definitely arrest him and have a taste of him. Taste the taste of Purgatory Mountain." Zuyun smiled bitterly. It can be seen from his words that the ancestor of the Lin family had nothing to do with Yang. "Tell me, such a crazy man has an extremely smart fox demon wife. What can I do? I'm helpless too. Every time I attack him, I end up being ridiculed by him, saying that I, Yang, have no father, no mother, and nothing to do. I can't harm him. Anyway, it's very irritating." Listening to the ancestor of the Lin family getting more and more biased, Zuyun quickly stopped him and said, "Brother Lin, you haven't heard what good news I have brought." "That's right." The ancestor of the Lin family slapped his forehead and said, "Tell me, what's the good news?" "I found out." Zuyun's mind was spinning rapidly. In fact, there was no good news. He himself was surrounded by dangers and had no clue. This was simply a trick to trick the ancestor of the Lin family. "What did you find?" The ancestor of the Lin family looked suspicious. Zuyun blurted out, "I discovered the Southern Immortal Emperor." Before he finished speaking, the ancestor of the Lin family rushed over and grabbed him by the collar. "He is the body of the soul, and the ancestor of the Lin family is just an immortal soul. They are of the same type." His fierce reaction was enough to surprise Zuyun, but the Lin family ancestor's next words made Zuyun feel cold all over. "Damn it, did you discover this evil fairy leader?" Zuyun was extremely shocked by these words. Originally, this was just a guess on his part. Unexpectedly, the Southern Immortal Emperor is really an evil immortal. The word boss is very rustic. But it was enough to scare Zuyun into a cold sweat. "Brother, let go, let go. What I want to say is not that I found him, no, I found him, but that's not what I want to tell you." "What is that? Say it quickly." The ancestor of the Lin family was extremely excited, and the suspended Purgatory Mountain was also shaken by it. I am now in the immortal palace of the Southern Immortal Emperor, and I have arranged for the Formation Immortal to deal with the Southern Immortal Emperor. By the way, the good news is that the Immortal Emperor only has his remaining soul. According to the Formation Immortal, it should be possible deal with it. You. The ancestor of the Lin family became extremely excited and completely incoherent. He let go of Zuyun and paced back and forth in the void. The Formation Immortal, I remember, the Formation Immortal was asked away by the Immortal Emperor before, and then disappeared. And before him, there was the Immortal Lord Lian Zhen, and before that, there were some ordinary Daluo. However, the earliest one is the saint of the Holy Demon tribe. The ancestor of the Lin family recalled it carefully, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he said, "You said you discovered the immortal mansion, then you must be able to enter the immortal mansion, right?" Zuyun gave a bitter smile and said, "Brother Lin, I am in the immortal mansion. I want to take over this immortal mansion and make him homeless. It is because I am helpless that I seek your help. Damn, I've always wanted to capture the Southern Immortal Emperor and torture him, but unfortunately I didn't have the chance." In the end, he was seriously injured in a sneak attack, and only then was he confirmed to be the leader of the evil immortal. The ancestor of the Lin family gritted his teeth and said, "Ye Yang saved my life back then, otherwise I would have been dead. No one knows where the immortal emperor's immortal mansion is, otherwise, he wouldn't come and go without a trace. Let's go, take me out. I'll help you seize this fairy mansion." The ancestor of the Lin family turned around and turned into a golden light, which actually entered Zuyun's eyes. "Brother, what are you? He, do you think that the divine eye technique was learned by you in vain? It was just for me to come up with it, so I can follow you out at any time." After hearing this, Zuyun realized that he had been deceived by the ancestor of the Lin family. Not that he had ulterior motives. But from his words and deeds, I didn't realize that he had prepared everything. Fortunately, the ancestor of the Lin family is indeed a trustworthy person. Zuyun thought and left from the Tianfu space. After returning to the cave, the ancestor of the Lin family also flew out of his eyes and transformed into the body of an immortal soul. "Here comes the book." He first stretched out his hand, sucked the Tianfu, and then put it in Zuyun's hand. "Damn it, my life is in your hands. If there is any danger, you can control this book and put me away." Zuyun did not dare to neglect and quickly stuffed the book into his arms. The ancestor of the Lin family nodded and began to look at the cave. "Is this his humming immortal mansion?" Zuyun's face darkened and he said, "This is just a cave. Go out and have a look." The ancestor of the Lin family said again, "Are you sure that the immortal emperor is not here?" Zuyun said, "If my guess is correct, the immortal emperor should be trapped by the Formation Immortal. As long as I take down the immortal mansion, he will never be able to come back, and I can kill him then." The ancestor of the Lin family flashed in his eyes, "Your plan is good. I really saw the right person. It seems that it is the effect I used to suppress you with Purgatory Mountain in the Tianfu space." Zuyun suddenly choked up. He had never realized that the ancestor of the Lin family could be so thick-skinned. At this time, the ancestor of the Lin family also left the cave, and Zuyun heard him yelling. "I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills." Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1522. Damn it, isn't this the Sword Mountain of the Sword Immortal? The rumors were blown up, so why is it still in this Immortal's mansion? Before Zuyun could step forward to ask a few words, he saw that the ancestor of the Lin family had already flown to the top of the Sword Mountain, and then said in a shocked and angry voice, "Damn, there is also the dragon transformation pond at the True Dragon Peak." Zuyun also flew up to Jianshan Mountain and stood behind him, saying, "Brother Lin, do you know him?" The ancestor of the Lin family puffed his beard and stared, saying, I am also the master of Purgatory Mountain after all, so of course I recognize these famous places in the immortal world. But I didn't expect that the Southern Immortal Emperor would include these places in his immortal mansion. It's really a big deal. Ah! Zhu Yun's heart moved and he said, "Brother, let's not worry about this for now. The most important thing right now is to capture the entire immortal mansion." That's right, the ancestor of the Lin family came back to his senses and said, "I'll take another look at this immortal mansion, and then help you." The Southern Immortal Emperor, he must die. Zhu Yun breathed a sigh of relief and followed closely behind the ancestor of the Lin family. After coming down from Jian Mountain, they walked out of the courtyard wall. As far as the eye can see, it is a huge martial arts arena. When he saw this scene, Zhu Yun was stunned for a moment. Then I remembered that this was the fragment of the Five Elements sect, but after merging it, I had always forgotten that there was still this place. Since then, he has visited more of the world of the universe, rather than the immortal mansion. Even if you come to the immortal mansion, you still come and go in a hurry. After stepping through the martial arts arena, there is a long corridor. On both sides of the promenade, there is a lake on one side and a garden on the other. Humph, this immortal emperor knows how to enjoy it. The lake is filled with creation fluid, but the garden is filled with immortal flowers. Zhu Yun heard envy and jealousy from the mouth of the ancestor of the Lin family. Obviously, these are rare good things in the fairy world. Brother, what is the use of creation fluid? Zhu Yun also asked quickly. The creation fluid can wash the physical body. Of course, you can't use it. Your body has not been forged by the immortal light and cannot withstand the power in the creation fluid. Zhu Yun asked again, where are those fairy flowers? Fairy flower. The ancestor of the Lin family showed a meaningful smile and looked at Zhu Yundao. It's just a flower that produces spiritual wisdom. It's not really of much use. But when it reaches a certain level, the fairy flower can transform into a beauty. It's called Flower Fairy. Zhu Yun suddenly choked on his words. He couldn't tell what the Lin family ancestor's expression meant. After walking through the corridor, you will find a main hall. The main hall is huge and the golden walls are brilliant. Even Zhu Yun can feel an extremely powerful force flowing in the main hall. There is no doubt that this is immortal power. In the hall, 2 rows of 18 pillars support the roof. It's just that the carvings on the pillars are all different kinds of animal faces. Zhu Yun glanced at them one by one, his expression gradually becoming serious. Because he saw a familiar face. Hidden demon. On one of the pillars, a hidden demon was completely carved, wrapping around the pillar and extending to the top. Brother, do you recognize, what kind of beast is that? Zhu Yun's voice was a little trembling, and the ancestor of the Lin family heard something and couldn't help but look at it intently. In an instant, he frowned. It's not a monster. There has never been such a monster in the fairy world. Zhu Yun said calmly, is there a possibility that it could be an extraterrestrial demon? What did you say? The ancestor of the Lin family was shocked. It was obvious that the words extraterrestrial devil scared him. Outer territory demon. Zhu Yun emphasized again, and the ancestor of the Lin family trembled all over. Is it possible that this evil fairy leader is colluding with the demon from outside the territory? Brother. Zhu Yun called out in a deep voice, I have seen this extraterrestrial demon, and I am sure of it. The name of this kind of demon is hidden demon. Hidden demon, hidden demon. The ancestor of the Lin family murmured, then steeled himself and looked at Zhu Yundao. It seems that the immortal emperor is deeply hidden. We must take him down in this immortal mansion. But what? But if the immortal emperor really colludes with the demon outside the territory, maybe, after this immortal mansion is used by you, I am afraid that it will rarely cause other troubles in the future. You mean the extraterrestrial demon? Zhu Yun couldn't help but fell into deep thought. he had fought against extraterrestrial demons and killed many of them himself. But that is under the restrictions of heaven, and the extraterrestrial demons may only exert less than 10% of their strength. But in the fairy world, how will the opponent perform? Yes, the extraterrestrial demons are a serious problem in the fairy world. No one knows how they came to the fairy world. At least, before I hid in the lower world, the extraterrestrial demons had already caused trouble to the southern fairyland. Some people once speculated that they were demons from the chaotic star sea. But I don't know, perhaps, the southern immortal emperor opened a passage to bring in the demons from outside the territory. After the ancestor of the Lin family calmed down, his thinking became clearer, and his guesses were well founded. When the extraterrestrial demon first appeared, people in the fairy world regarded it as an ordinary magical beast. But then something big happened. Someone raised one, and all the people in the house were bitten to death in one night. This proves that the extraterrestrial demon has extremely high intelligence, which is definitely not comparable to ordinary monsters. And after that incident happened, similar news came from all the major immortal realms one after another. It also took a lot of time to clean up those monsters. When they tracked it down, they discovered that there was a huge black hole near Qingping Star, and monsters flew through it from time to time. Later, someone explored and discovered that the passage led to another interface. So, we called it the demon realm. We call the monsters from outside the fairyland the demons outside the realm. It was only then that Zuyun learned about the origin of the extraterrestrial demon. But the news he learned now seems to have led him into another unavoidable trouble. He will definitely get it from the immortal mansion, but there will definitely be some outside demons involved in it. Boy Zuyun, the ancestor of the Lin family, put away his thoughts and said, "You have to eat your food one bite at a time, and you have to do things one by one. I can help you take down this fairy mansion, but the demon from outside the territory will be here by then. In the fairy world, I can't help you much." Zuyun expressed his understanding, nodded, and said, "If I can return to the immortal world, will I go back to Purgatory Mountain and continue to guard those evil immortals?" The ancestor of the Lin family said, "I must have gone back to Purgatory Mountain, but, to hide. The demons from outside the territory will definitely not be able to break through Purgatory Mountain. If you have nowhere to go then, why not come to Laozi Mountain to hide, anyway? You can go in too." Lu Chen stared and was speechless for a long time. "Let's go, I will help you seize this immortal mansion, and you sit on the seat of the immortal emperor. That first seat is the key to the immortal mansion." At this time, the ancestor of the Lin family pushed Zuyun to the front of the hall and pressed him on the throne like an emperor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1523. Zuyun, I can't help you much. I can only make this immortal mansion your place now. However, after this, I will still fall into a deep sleep. If you arrive in the immortal realm before I wake up, remember to leave this place, return the sword mountain to the sword immortal, return the dragon transformation pond to the true dragon, and return the trial platform to the destiny ancestral beast." After all, the ancestor of the Lin family wanted to pour strength into Zuyun's body, but Zuyun broke away. The trial platform. Which one is the trial platform? Apart from not knowing it was a trial platform, what he was more concerned about was that the ancestor of the Lin family mentioned the destiny ancestral beast. It's the square flat land at the other end of the corridor. The ancestor of the Lin family also stopped and explained to Zuyun. "You mean, that open space like a martial arts arena?" "Yes, the human race calls it a martial arts arena, but the demon race calls it a testing ground. Remember, return those three things, maybe you can win their favor and help you in the future. After the ancestor of the Lin family finished speaking, he was ready to take action again. Zuyun quickly said, "Brother, I know the sword Immortal, and I have returned his chaos sword." "What? Have you met the sword Immortal?" The ancestor of the Lin family was originally not interested, but when he heard what Zuyun said, his outstretched hand froze in mid-air. "Yes, I've met him before, and I'm acquainted with him." Zuyun touched his nose. "So, the sword Immortal was captured by the Immortal Emperor and then imprisoned in the Immortal Mansion?" "No," Zuyun shook his head and said, "Brother, do you know that Qingping Star has been destroyed?" This time, Zuyun did not get a response from the ancestor of the Lin family, but remained silent for a long time. After a long while, he said, "I don't know, but I can predict it. When the demons from outside the territory invade the fairy world, the first stop will be Qingping Star. Even if Qingping Star is a heaven-level world star with countless capable people and strangers appearing, I'm afraid it will be the same, can't resist it." Zuyun let out a long sigh and said, "Qingping Star was destroyed, but a fragment flew into Yellow Star, and Sword Immortal accidentally entered the fragment, and then briefly lost his past. A period of memory. But then again, Sword Immortal and Ye Yang know each other. How can they know each other? Sword Immortal has been famous for millions of years, and Ye Yang, I understand, Sword Immortal was injured by the Immortal Emperor, and then he became a yellow star. His temperament must be compatible with Ye Yang." "That's it," Zuyun nodded and said, "then, where are the True Dragon Ancestral Land and the Destiny Ancestral Beast?" "The True Dragon Ancestral Land is in the Northern Immortal Territory, and the Destiny Ancestral Beast is in the Western Immortal Territory." "Okay, there is no problem, right?" "If there is no problem, I will start." Zuyun thought for a moment, nodded, and said, "Let's get started." As soon as he finished speaking, the ancestor of the Lin family placed a hand directly on his Tianling cap. Then, his eyes flashed with light, obviously using the divine eye technique. At the same time, his free hand kept drawing symbols in the void. The immortal power in the hall, under his command, continuously gathered in front of him. In just a moment, it formed a ball. The hand of the ancestor of the Lin family is like a pen, but this immortal power is like ink. A sky talisman took shape, but quickly dissipated. On every talisman, the fonts on it are like dragons and phoenixes dancing. I don't know how long it took, but the ancestor of the Lin family was silent again and stopped moving. If you look closely, you can see that he has already fallen asleep. And Zuyun also collapsed on his seat, completely unconscious. At the same time, in the universe world, the Southern Immortal Emperor, who was looking at the formation Immortal, suddenly shook his body. Then he touched his chest tightly, showing an incredible look. "Diwu glazed mirror, why can't I feel Diwu glazed mirror?" Hearing this, the formation Immortal was immediately ecstatic. "Ha ha ha, Nangong Tianli, you know now, why am I hiding from you? I'm afraid that I will suppress you and let you run away. Shameless talk." The Immortal Emperor, Nangong Tianli, raised his head, looked at the formation Immortal coldly, and said, "Even if your formation Dao is strong, you are just a body of an immortal soul now. How can you deal with me? The space of the great universe glazed mirror does have more laws than before, but this alone is far from enough. Nangong Tianli, I only have the formation Dao, and you know my methods very well. But do you know that besides me, there are thousands of living beings in this universe?" After saying that, the formation Immortal stretched out his hand, and the large formation that had been set up suddenly took shape, directly trapping Nangong Tianli in the formation. "Thousands of creatures? You mean?" Nangong Tianli secretly felt something was wrong and subconsciously wanted to leave. But Diwu Liulijing has lost contact with him, and he can't go back at all. At this time, countless monsters appeared out of thin air from the formation. As long as the demon cultivators from the 12 tribes reached the transformation stage, they were all brought here by the demon saints. Nangong Tianli watched the demon cultivators turn into human forms with his own eyes, and looked at him with vapid eyes. Destiny Beast Clan. Nangong Tianli narrowed his eyes and said, "Array Immortal, you are just the great universe artifact Immortal. If you can find the Destiny Beast Clan, there must be outsiders helping you. Is it that kid?" The Immortal Emperor didn't know Zhu Yun's name, but the formation Immortal knew who he was talking about. "Yes, it's him. I'm not afraid to tell you that Zhu Yun will be the new Southern Immortal Emperor." Ha ha ha, Nangong Tianli seemed to have heard a big joke, which made him forget his current situation. When he stopped laughing, he was full of disdain. The Southern Immortal Emperor is not something that anyone can sit on. Even the masters of the other major immortal realms are not qualified. I think you are the one who is so arrogant. The great universe world already has the basic heavenly Deo, and you can't even play the realm of the immortal lord. At most, you are only at the nascent soul stage of the spirit realm. And here, there are thousands of demon cultivators, and I have the help of the star array. Let's see how you deal with it. Nangong Tianli, prepare to die. The array immortal waved his hand, and countless demon cultivators roared and ran towards Nangong Tianli. Really? Nangong Tianli put away his shocked expression and turned to a casual sarcasm. It's nothing more than not being able to use immortal power. In this universe, there are spiritual power, demon power, power of faith, and power of destiny. There is even a faint demonic energy. Which kind of power can't I use? As soon as he finished speaking, a ball of spiritual power had already condensed in his hand and he casually sprinkled it out. The spiritual power split into dots, and these dots of spiritual power condensed into a ball, and then turned into a human-shaped outline. This method is very similar to the legendary bean-sprinkling soldiers. Spiritual soldiers and spiritual generals, go. The immortal emperor shouted softly, and he also took 2 steps back. In an instant, these human-shaped outlines all rushed over and faced thousands of demon cultivators. As expected of the immortal emperor, good method. Unfortunately, do you think I have made so many preparations? The array immortal's face turned cold, and he pinched the array formula in his hand. The star array roared again, and a green light and shadow followed. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1524. Real dragon? No, no, how can a real dragon have such a color? Nangong Tianli immediately looked towards Xiaolu and recognized Xiaolu as a real dragon through his body shape. But even though he had been to the true dragon ancestral land and stolen the Hualong Pond, he had never heard of a green true dragon. What surprised him even more was that behind Xiaolu, there were countless magical beasts mixed with demonic energy and demonic energy. Huh. Nangong Tianli just glanced around and discovered something strange. These monsters have many influences from extraterrestrial demons, but what flows through them is pure demonic power. So, is this an extraterrestrial demon or a demon clan? He didn't know that a fragment of Qingping Fairy Kingdom flew into Huangxingxing, so he couldn't recognize that it was a magical beast that had been multiplied by the combination of demons and demons for tens of thousands of years. But soon, he came to his senses. This wave led by Xiaolu was not something he could easily face. It doesn't matter whether you are a devil or a monster. Nangong Tianli's eyes narrowed and his hands danced impressively. Spiritual demon, enter. Nangong Tianli used the magic technique that was almost exactly the same as that of the spirit soldiers and generals. He used his 2 hands to use it. One hand used the demonic power to form a humanoid outline, while the other hand used the spirit of the demon. Nangong Tianli, you can actually control these 3 powers at the same time. The array immortal was shocked and couldn't believe it at all. If ordinary people can use one to the extreme, it is already extremely powerful. It seems that Zuyun is just merging this world and the power he knows into one for himself through the origin of the world. Including the current formation Immortal, the same is true. But Nangang Tianli didn't seem to have any influence at all. If you want to use spiritual power, just use it immediately. I want to use demonic energy or demonic power, but there is no sluggishness at all, as if I was born with the ability. What do three kinds count for? Nangang Tianli sneered, if the power of faith in this world didn't belong to me, I would be able to use it. While speaking, Nangang Tianli had already controlled the humanoid outline of demon power and demonic energy, and rushed towards Xiaolu. The array Immortal's eyes narrowed slightly and said, since you can't use it, then I'm relieved. After saying that, he activated the formation technique again. But this time, the fewest people showed up. 12 people. It is the 12 demon saints. They were arranged in strange positions. Destined demon clan? Are they still in the demon saint realm? At this time, Nangang Tianli's expression finally changed. He squinted his eyes and crossed his hands in front of him, but there was no movement. Yes, it is the Destiny Demon Clan. And, they can also form the Destiny Ancestral Beast. The formation Immortal sneered, but the 12 demon saints did not make any move. Even if they can be formed, but their power cannot reach a balance, I have a way to break them up. Nangang Tianli shook his head and turned to stare at the formation Immortal. You must have other means, right? Why don't you use them all? The formation Immortal shook his head and said, there are still many trump cards. I plan to let you taste them one by one. If I release them all at once, I'm afraid you won't be able to enjoy them. Arrogant. Nangang Tianli suddenly uttered two words in his mouth, but this time, he went up personally and grabbed Longwu with one hand. I've caught real dragons, not to mention a demonic dragon from the lower realm. It was so fast that no one could react. Longwu knew that he couldn't escape, so he could only reach out to block it. The other demon saints also gathered their demon power and used the connection of the 12 demon positions to use all their demon powers to pass through. Bang! Longwu took a few steps back, but except for the shock of the demonic power, he was unscathed. Nangang Tianli frowned and said in shock, how can a demon dragon refine the dragon balls? Dragon balls? Ha ha ha, dragon balls. Didn't you expect, Nangang Tianli, that the dragon balls you stole from the true dragon ancestral land would be refined by him? Xianxia suddenly laughed wildly. A few years ago, the true dragon clan issued a reward to the entire fairy world, saying that whoever can find the stolen 7 dragon balls of the true dragon clan will win the friendship of the true dragon clan. If there is any trouble in the future, the true dragon clan can repay the favor. Unexpectedly, not long after the notice was sent out, the Phoenix ancestral land said that their 7 Phoenix pearls had also been stolen. As a result, several elders of the True Dragon clan met with the Phoenix clan. As a result, even more shocking news came, the True Dragon clan's Hualong Pond also disappeared out of thin air. The formation Immortal laughed at this moment, but he couldn't help but guess whether Nangang Tianli had stolen the Hualong Pond. Don't be too happy too early. Even if he refines the dragon balls, he is still in the realm of demon saint after all. He has not become a real dragon or a dragon immortal. At most, he can only use 10% of the power of the dragon balls. Having said that, Nangang Tianli stepped back again and struck out 7 times with his hands crazily, each one being the Dragon King's weak point. Longwu was retreating steadily. Only now did he know where the 7 dragon balls came from, and he was already shocked beyond measure. This is something that even the immortal emperor would steal, and the other party also said that he could only use 10% of his power at most. If you can fully master it. Longwu is a smart man. He has been following the dragon demon emperor for many years. He is not weak in strength and has a good character. He knew he was outmatched, and if he faced the enemy forcefully, he would definitely be seeking death. Moreover, don't panic. He remained calm in the face of danger and stepped on the demon position. The other demon saints also moved with him. Although the 12 demon saints had not merged into the ancestral beast of destiny, they could use the 12 demon positions to deal with Nangong Tianli's attack. After a long time of attack, Nangong Tianli's face was also a little anxious, and he frequently looked at the fighting situation of the other parties. Obviously, he was also at a disadvantage. No matter how mysterious his immortal arts were, under the way of heaven, he could not exceed the laws of this side. And whether it was the demon beasts or the magic beasts brought by Xiaolu, the number far exceeded Nangong Tianli's scattering beams into soldiers. Seeing this, Nangong Tianli's offensive became more fierce, and various immortal arts emerged one after another. However, he could not control it with immortal power. But Long Wu had the help of other demon saints. Although he was defeated, it was not a problem to hold Nangong Tianli back. If it were not for Nangong Tianli's sometimes demon power and sometimes spiritual power, it would be impossible to predict at all, and he would want to fight back even more. But at this moment, he knew very well that there were ambushes in the star formation, and he was not a killer. Even those ambushes were not killers. The real killer was Zuyun. Before Zuyun came, they would do their best to drag Nangong Tianli here and consume him. Just as Long Wu slowly got used to Nangong Tianli's methods, something strange happened. He shouted in a low voice, and his body suddenly stepped back 2 steps, pulling away from Long Wu. Then, 2 heads suddenly appeared on his shoulders. And under his shoulders, 2 pairs of hands appeared out of thin air. 3 heads, 6 arms. Long Wu was slightly startled, but saw that 3 fairy weapons appeared in Nangong Tianli's hands, a gun, a silk, and a ring. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1525. Long Wu, be careful. The formation fairy immediately warned him when she saw this. But Nangong Tianli moved very quickly, and had already controlled the red silk to sweep towards Long Wu. Not good. Long Wu was shocked and quickly retreated, while resisting with his power. But he never thought that Nangong Tianli's spear would take advantage of the gap and go straight into Long Wu's retreat. Long Wu's pupils shrank sharply, and before he could think of a way to deal with it, he saw the other party smashing the ring over again. This person used 3 moves at the same time, and the Dragon King was overwhelmed. And the formation fairy also quickly grasped the formation formula to help Long Wu. Or, to help the 12 demon saints. Bang! Bang! Clang! 3 completely different sounds rang out, as if the 3 fairy artifacts in Nangong Tianli's hands smashed on a suddenly appeared formation wall. Suddenly, Nangong Tianli's face changed. This is the power of the origin of this world. You are just a weapon fairy, how can you use it? What kind of person is he? With just one glance, he saw the attributes of the power of the control array and exclaimed. Why do you care how I use it? Anyway, you must die today. The array fairy's eyes condensed, and the 10 fingers of his hands kept dancing. The entire star array, the array pattern flashed, and came towards Nangong Tianli with endless power of origin. Array fairy, do you really think that this emperor has only this trick? Nangong Tianli's eyes flashed with brilliance, and the 3 heads and 6 arms suddenly split into 3 people, running in 3 directions. 3 clones. The array fairy sneered, you are originally a body of a residual soul, and if you split it into 3, I'm afraid the immortal soul will be weaker. But just after he finished speaking, the array fairy's face changed again. Why is this? The 3 incarnations have different auras. Nangong Tianli didn't want to pay attention to the array fairy at all, or he didn't have time at all. Seeing Xianxia waiting for the opportunity, he could guess his own situation. Originally, he had no fear. But when Xianxia was able to control the power of the origin of this world, he realized the seriousness of the matter. Xianxia, even if he was just a remnant soul of an instrument immortal, was also in the realm of an immortal king. In terms of realm, he was the same as him. Xianxia did not expect Nangang Tianli to escape as soon as he said he would, and he also escaped with 3 clones with different auras. At this time, he could not care too much. With the strength of the immortal emperor, even if one clone escaped, everything they did would be in vain. Long Wu, you chase the one with demonic energy. Xiao Lu, you chase the one with demonic energy. All the other demon cultivators, follow me to chase the last one. This was something that Xianxia had never expected, but at this time, it was completely a test of Zhengxian's ability to respond to emergencies. After the order was issued, all the troops from all sides started to move. Long Wu was no longer suppressed, and quickly let the other 11 demon saints approach him. The demon power surged, and they merged into the ancestral beast of destiny. The little green dragon rolled over, and the demon beasts followed with roars. Nangang Tianli's demon incarnation would be caught up no matter where he ran unless he suppressed the demon energy. Not to mention, he was still trapped in this star formation at this time. At the same time, the formation fairy personally led a group of demon cultivators. Relatively speaking, the demon cultivators here are weaker, so he needs to command them personally. But because of this, the formation fairy did not control the entire star formation, but let Nangang Tianli's other 2 incarnations find an opportunity to take advantage of. The star formation is the unique skill of the formation fairy. But Nangang Tianli was able to refine him into a weapon fairy at that time, and he already knew him well. Now he is at a disadvantage. If the formation fairy controls the situation completely, he may have no way. But at this time, he used a clone to attract the attention of the formation fairy, but gave the other 2 incarnations a chance. Boom! Just when the formation fairy led a group of monsters to tear the remnant soul of Nangang Tianli, who was in charge, into pieces, the remnant souls of demonic energy and demonic power took the opportunity to get out of the star formation. Whether it was the ancestor beast of destiny or the group of monsters led by Xiaolu, they were trapped in the formation and stared blankly. They couldn't chase them out at all. Watching the 2 clones stop for a while, showing a contemptuous smile, and then going away in different directions. Formula Fairy, he ran away. The ancestor beast of destiny shouted to remind him, and the formation fairy opened 2 formation gates and let them chase him out. The remnant soul of demonic energy went east, while the remnant soul of demonic energy ran wildly along the way they came. I'll chase the original one. After leaving a word, the ancestor beast of destiny ran wildly in that direction, and disappeared in a moment. And the remnant soul of demonic energy here bypassed the world sea and even bypassed the outside of the star formation. The formation immortal knew that his star formation could no longer play a role, so he simply pointed his finger to the sky and sent a signal with the power of the origin. Instantly, countless immortals flew up from the other side of the world sea. This road is blocked. The leader Zhou, holding a pseudo-immortal weapon, stood at the front with a cold look in his eyes. Even though he knew that the person in front of him was the immortal emperor, he was not afraid at all. You are, an immortal from Qingping Star. The remnant soul of the demon narrowed his eyes and recognized Zhou origin. No, I am from this world, the Qingping Immortal Kingdom. Thief, die. Zhou threw the pseudo-immortal weapon in his hand and ran away with the weapon. Behind him, countless immortal officials also used all their means and rushed over. Zhou Pao was lurking in the shadows, ready to kill with one blow. And after this remnant soul, the formation immortal has also arrived. Nangang Tianli, you have no way to escape. After the formation immortal spoke, he waved his hand. Wow! All the immortals and monsters are overwhelming. The remnant soul of the demonic energy has nowhere to escape. Destiny ancestral beast, Your inheritance didn't tell you that I am the immortal emperor. Here, the demonic remnant soul kept running wildly, but did not forget to speak to the destiny ancestor beast behind it. My legend recognizes you, but you are the immortal emperor of the south. What does it have to do with our western immortal territory? Do you care so much? After the destiny ancestral beast is synthesized, it will naturally follow him accordingly, so he has no fear at all towards Nangong Tianli. It's even more because these monsters originally worshipped Zuyun as a god. Destiny ancestral beast, you are not the original destiny ancestral beast. There is no need for you to pursue me so closely. You are right, I can't control that much, but we have no grudges. Leave a thin line and we will get along well in the future. See. Nangong Tianli has already felt that the demonic remnant soul has died. If something happens to this remnant soul, then he is really dead. Meet? Sorry, I don't want to meet you. Now, I just want to kill you. The destiny ancestral beast sneered, but to be honest, no matter how hard he tried, he could not catch up with Nangong Tianli. Fortunately, Xianxia and Zuyun had already discussed it and made the worst preparation, which was to delay the time and wait until Zuyun returns and gives him a final fatal blow. Destiny ancestral beast, do you really want to fight me? Nangong Tianli's face turned cold. The other party didn't even have the will to compromise. Then when he gets the part of the great universe glazed mirror, he can control part of the original power. At the same time, his strength will not be as strong as it is here. Restricted, you can kill it completely. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1526. The Destiny Ancestral Beast didn't know that Nangong Tianli was also planning something. At the same time, he also knew that the other party wanted to delay time so as to counterattack. In this case, it is considered to be in line with his wishes. However, the Destiny Ancestral Beast also understands that it is necessary to keep a certain distance appropriately, as long as he does not suddenly disappear. Just like that, flying for several days. The ancestral beast of destiny cannot deliver the message to the formation immortal. However, the formation immortal can know their approximate location through the world tree and world mountain. The only difficulty is that the formation immortal himself can keep up, and the others. The speed is nowhere near as fast. At this time, Zhou Pao stood up and said, "Array immortal, I can only take one person with me at most." After saying that, he looked at Zhou Gun. Both of them were working under the immortal King Dai Rong, although their statuses were still different. But after they both followed Zuyun, their relationship became closer. "You, okay, follow me." The formation immortal hesitated for a moment and then agreed. At this time, Yesuanhua, who had been on the World Sea platform, suddenly flew over. "Array immortal, there is actually a way to get everyone here to pass." The immortal's brows tightened, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "You mean, set up a teleportation array?" "That's right," Yesuanhua nodded and said, "we can give it a try. We can lay out the teleportation array with the same pattern, and maybe it can take shape." The formation immortal shook his head and said, "The formation patterns can be the same, but if the envoy's power is not balanced, accidents may occur in the teleportation formation." "Ken, let me try." A voice suddenly sounded among the immortal officials. City Lord Shui walked out of it. "Who are you?" The immortal doesn't know him. But Zhou Gun was surprised and said, "The Lord Shui of Dian Royal City. I didn't expect that anyone would recognize me." City Lord Shui looked at Zhou Gun and recognized that he must also be from the Qingping Immortal Kingdom. But he couldn't remember where he had seen an immortal official with high-grade immortal roots and a spear as a weapon. I was originally a subordinate of the immortal King Durong, but later I followed the master, Zeus Yen. Zhou Guan cupped his fists and then faced the immortal. City Lord Shui is the immortal root of space. If he helps, maybe we can accomplish something. We can only give it a try. The formation immortal nodded, thought for a moment, and said, then let Yesuanhua take the lead, and City Master Shui will assist on the side. As long as the power of the imperial formation can reach the same level, there won't be any problems. This matter shouldn't be difficult. City Lord Shui's eyes shone brightly and he said, it's just that after I help you, I have to trouble all the immortal officials to take me back to Dian King City. The formation immortal was surprised. Why, your vitality will be seriously injured. Not really, City Lord Shui smiled slightly, I will fall into a coma from exhaustion. It will take at least a month. Don't waste any more energy. Even if you can control demonic power, demonic energy, or spiritual power, it's a pity that you can't use the power of destiny. The destiny ancestral beast chased after him and said loudly to Nangong Tianli, who was far in front of him. If you stop, you will die. At least I have a chance to escape like this. Although he was clearly at a disadvantage, Nangong Tianli didn't show a trace of worry, and instead spoke in an extremely relaxed tone. After running around for several hours, he also saw the purpose of the destiny ancestral beast, but it was still stalling for time. He even tested out the destiny ancestral beast and didn't want to fight with him at all. I promise, I won't kill you. Besides, with your ability, if I wanted to do it, I wouldn't be able to hurt you that easily, right? The ancestral beast of destiny is good at tempting people, but unfortunately, in this aspect, he is simply not comparable to someone like Nangong Tianli, who is so cunning and cunning. Come on, Nangong Tianli said disdainfully, don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. Ancestral beast of destiny, you are also the number one person in the immortal world, why do you want to accept an ant from the lower world as your master? I'm not my real body. It doesn't seem to matter whether I recognize the ants as my master, right? On the contrary, I think you seem to have done something that's sorry for our Destiny Beast clan. Let me think about it. Nangong Tianli really stopped. Such a gesture caught the Destiny Ancestral Beast off guard. He thought the other party was going to make a move, so he quickly stopped. I remember, Nangong Tianli said with a sneer on his face, it seems that your trial platform was stolen by me. What did you say? The Destiny Ancestral Beast was shocked, with a look of disbelief on its face. There is indeed such a thing in his inheritance. Unfortunately, there are no clues at all. Since then, the Destiny Beast tribe has lost its trial platform, and the tribe has gradually declined. If it weren't for the Ancestral Beast's hard support and being far away on the border of the Western Immortal Realm, annihilation of the clan might not be impossible. The 12 demon clans are all Destiny demon clans. But compared with ordinary monsters, they are actually more difficult to reproduce. Coupled with the life and death battle on the trial platform, where the winner lives and the loser dies, the number of tribes is even smaller. To outsiders, the trial stage is a very cruel thing. But only the Destiny Beast clan knows that the clan members who died on the trial stage also made great contributions to the clan. And those who came out of the trial stage alive were all strong men, the mainstay of the Destiny Monster clan. But without the trial platform, although the number of the Destiny Beast clan increased, they ended up being mixed. Even the vast majority of clan members will die in the fighting in the immortal world. Over time, the overall strength of the Destiny Beast clan declined under such consumption. The trial platform is in my immortal palace. How about, I take you to see it? Nangong Tianli saw that the other party's mood was affected, and his face was half smiled, and he used words to provoke him. Sure enough, the matter involved the tribe's treasure, and the Destiny Ancestor Beast changed his mind in an instant. Okay, I want to see if what you said is true or not. Of course it's true, Nangong Tianli pointed to the sky and said to the yang fire above, I swear to this Fang Tiandao, if I, the Southern Immortal Emperor, Nangong Tianli, don't have the trial platform of the Destiny Beast clan, I will be burned to death by this sun. After saying that, he squinted his eyes and looked at the yang fire in the sky, and felt that it was a bit familiar. But under this circumstance, he didn't look at it carefully. Retracting his gaze, he was naturally overjoyed to see the expression of the Destiny Ancestor Beast who had already believed it. He swore to this heavenly Dao, but when he arrived in the space of the fragments of the universe that belonged to him, could this heavenly Dao still control him? Not to mention, the trial platform was indeed in the Immortal Palace. But now, I don't know why I lost contact. And when he was fighting against the Array Immortal, he didn't find Zhu Yun's breath. There was only one possibility, that is, the Immortal Palace had changed, and it must have been Zhu Yun's doing. The body of the Yuan Shen of a lower ant, it is impossible for one person to do it alone. So, he also had a sudden idea to use the trial platform to trick the heavenly fate ancestor beast away, and then control him and bring him to the Immortal Palace. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1527. At the same time, in the Immortal Mansion, Zhu Yun woke up slowly. He immediately discovered the abnormality in his brain. But he didn't care, but looked at the Lin family ancestor lying on the side. Brother Lin, Brother Lin. Zhu Yun pushed him a few times, but couldn't wake him up. Moreover, the Lin family ancestor was stiff all over, his chest was stable, and there was no movement at all. Dead. Suddenly, Zhu Yun's heart skipped a beat. But suddenly, he remembered that this was the immortal soul body of the Lin family ancestor. How could it breathe? At the same time, he also remembered what the Lin family ancestor said before, that when he woke up, he would put him into the heavenly talisman. I don't know how long it has been, I almost forgot it. Zhu Yun was also amused by his own actions. He took out the heavenly talisman from his arms, and slightly operated the power. The immortal soul body of the Lin family ancestor was sucked in like a liquid. As long as it is in there, nothing will happen. Zhu Yun was relieved, and then he searched for information about the Immortal Mansion in his mind. The entire Immortal Mansion quickly took shape in his mind. In addition to what he and the Lin family ancestor saw along the way, he also saw many buildings. He only needed to move his mind, and he was as if he was there, observing the specific location of the Immortal Mansion. It seems that this Immortal Mansion is already under my control. I don't know how the Immortal Emperor is now. Zhu Yun was not in a hurry to go over. Since the Immortal Emperor did not come back, it means that he is still trapped in the great universe world. There are millions of living beings, providing the source of power. Even if the Immortal Emperor cannot be killed, it should be enough to delay him. Zhu Yun roughly looked at the Immortal Mansion, and finally found that the entire Immortal Mansion was constantly floating in the void. This shocked him greatly, and also reminded him of the void he touched when the Immortal Mansion was incomplete. Countless chaotic forces flowed back and forth. This also made him start to think about a question. Will the void where the great universe world is located be in the same void as the Immortal Mansion? But his attainments were still shallow, and he couldn't figure out the key anyway, so he had to give up and finally set his sights on the place he was most familiar with. The immortal medicine in the medicine garden also made him feel moved. If they were moved to the edge, could they still absorb the chaotic power in the void for their own use as before? These chaotic forces are a great tonic for immortal medicines, and this has been confirmed by the immortal medicines. In addition, there is also that bedroom. I don't know how Nujiao is doing. Zhu Yun cast his eyes into the bedroom. I saw Nujiao still lying on the magic jade bed, just like what he saw before. But this time, she was mumbling something in her mouth, and there were tears in her eyes. Zuyun hated to see women crying the most, even if he knew that Nujiao might be crying for the immortal emperor. Wait, the immortal emperor. Zuyun quickly came back to his senses. No matter what, the immortal palace was under control. Now, even if he goes to kill the immortal emperor, he can naturally solve the current doubts at that time. Moreover, after the immortal palace is under his control, he can also let Mengwei enter the immortal palace. At that time, what Nujiao is thinking at this time, can't it be told to him after being integrated with Mengwei? Thinking of this, Zuyun's mind moved. The next moment, he appeared directly in the small courtyard leading to the great universe world. Taking a deep breath, Zuyun pushed the door open. I only felt that Zuyun was in the great universe world in a flash. Zuyun. Yasuanhua was setting up the formation here, because City Lord Shui told him that there seemed to be space laws here. If a teleportation formation was set up, the success rate here would be the highest. But who knew that Zuyun would enter the great universe world here every time? Master? City Lord Shui? What are you doing here? Zuyun was also strange. Logically speaking, if the immortal emperor did not return, shouldn't they work hard to trap the immortal emperor? Set up the formation, Yasuanhua said with a stern face, you scared me to death. If the formation is wrong, how can I go to help the formation fairy? The immortal emperor ran away. This made Zuyun hear the hidden meaning. I'll tell you later, you can stay wherever you want, we have to set up the formation quickly. It's just right, I'll let you bring helpers with you then. Yasuanhua waved his hand impatiently, leaving Zuyun speechless. I'm afraid that in the entire universe, only Yasuanhua dared to talk to Zuyun like this. The universe is actually still under Zuyun's control, but he can no longer use the power of origin. But because of this, he has no idea what the situation is in the universe at this time. He wanted to ask questions, but seeing that the two were busy, he had to shut up tightly. This formation lasted for several hours. When Zuyun came, it was dark. It was not until the Yang fire rose that the formation was completely formed. And they spent a total of 7 days setting it up. Is this a teleportation formation? Zuyun glanced at City Lord Shui. He knew his master didn't have this ability. Yes, Zhu Xian, it is a teleportation formation. When this formation lights up, I will use the space immortal route to connect this formation with the formation set up by the formation immortal, and then let the reinforcements chase after it. So, do we still have to wait for news from the formation immortal? Zuyun nodded. To be honest, he only knew a little about the teleportation formation. Although he remembered the array pattern of the teleportation array in the mortal world, it is not as simple as copying to set up the array or draw the talisman. It also involves the level and direction of power. For example, the teleportation array also has the law of space. From this, we can see how amazing and outstanding Tang Tiangang was at that time. Yes, the situation at that time was finally free at this time. Yasuanhua sat down and told Zuyun in detail what happened at that time. I didn't expect that Nangang Tianli would have such a skill. Even though he knew that the other party was the leader of the evil fairy, it was still thrilling to listen to Yasuanhua's words at this time. And the other party was even more cunning, and he actually let him run away with the residual soul. Anyway, our only advantage is that we have more people. Of course it is impossible to let him run away like this, so I discussed with the array fairy and came up with this method. Yasuanhua was also a little tired, so he simply lay on the ground with his hands behind his head. Zuyun also had nothing to do, so he lay down side by side. Just saw the rising Yang fire. Huh! The Yang fire shot straight into his eyes. Normally, a normal person should close his eyes, or at least squint. But Zuyun found that after the Yang fire entered his eyes, his own voice sounded in his mind. The Destiny Ancestor beast has been fooled, it's dangerous. Zuyun was extremely surprised and asked hurriedly, "Who are you? Are you my chaos incarnation?" "Yes, and no. Let's talk about this later. The Destiny Ancestor Beast may be dead, and the Formation Immortal is still far away. Don't take your eyes off my Yang Fire, otherwise I can't guide you." Zuyun said anxiously, "But I can't chase it now, I'm afraid it's too late." Yang Fire said, "Let City Lord Shui change it to a one-way teleportation array, don't wait for the Formation Immortal. By chasing the array, I will guide this array. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills." Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1528. A one-way teleportation array is much simpler than a two-way one. The current Yang Fire is the result of the fusion of Zuyun's Chaos Incarnation. Naturally, he has seen the ability of City Lord Shui, so he proposed this idea. Zuyun naturally understood the meaning of it. With a fixed gaze, he turned to City Lord Shui and said, "Change the array and directly transmit me over. I will tell you the direction." Zhu Xian, this is not a joke. Both the array Immortal and Yesuanhua were shocked. "Yes, Zuyun, do you think this array is a joke?" Zuyun smiled slightly and said, "It's okay, I know it." After that, he pointed to the sky and said, "He told me." Both of them were stunned and confused. But wherever the Yang Fire goes, everything that happens in the entire universe is clear. It's nothing more than that Zuyun didn't know how to communicate with his Chaos Incarnation before. Now, as long as he wants to have some contact with the Chaos Incarnation, he just needs to let the sunlight shine into his eyes. "Okay, I got it." City Lord Shui quickly realized that when Qingping Immortal Country merged into the Great Universe world, all the duckweed in the sky retreated, and the Yang Fire almost burned all the Immortals. Later, it was Zuyun who incarnated as Chaos and solved the problem despite numerous difficulties and dangers. He saw it with his own eyes. "Zhu Xian, please guide me." City Lord Shui's immortal root on his forehead lit up, and he quickly released his immortal soul. Zuyun could not clearly tell where the Formation Immortal was, but he could tell the Formation Immortal the location with his soul. Zuyun was not polite either, and passed the location transmitted by the Yang Fire to the Formation Immortal. In just a breath, City Lord Shui immediately took over the teleportation array. "Brother Ye, if I fall asleep, you will guide me here. I will use this array to open a space channel." After that, City Lord Shui's immortal root suddenly burst into light, and the array pattern also lit up. After the two merged into one, a light gate immediately appeared in the array. Through the light gate, you can still see the scene there. "I'll go first, you guys follow me later." Zuyun cheered up, left this sentence, and then went into the light gate. The next moment, he appeared in another part of the universe world. In front of him was a barren land. Even if Zuyun couldn't feel the power of the origin, he could see that this should be the space of the other pieces of the great universe glass mirror fragments of the immortal emperor. Too abrupt, he sighed, turned his head and looked up at the sky. The sun fire shone into his eyes, and the voice of the Chaos Incarnation sounded again in his mind. 10 breaths ago, they were here, you chased them in front." Zuyun was shocked, are they in another fragment space? Although these fragment spaces merged with the great universe world, just like the Qingping Immortal Kingdom at that time, it gave Zuyun a completely different feeling. Presumably, the way of heaven in this is also different. Yes, it's in front of us. This side hasn't merged yet, so I can't see that side. The Immortal Emperor wants to plot against the Destiny Ancestor Beast. If you don't go, the Destiny Ancestor Beast might get into trouble. Okay. Zuyun agreed immediately, and then rushed over with the Changshengju footwork. 10 breaths of time, it must not be too far. Sure enough, Zuyun felt as if he had passed through a barrier and came to this desolate land. The air around him was completely different, revealing a cold breath. His mind suddenly changed. Just as he was being cautious, the voice of the Destiny Ancestor Beast came from not far in front of him. "Haven't you arrived yet?" Zuyun was startled, and hurriedly ran over. It turned out that he was relatively high at this time, and the front suddenly turned, like a fault under the Gobi Desert. Unexpectedly, the Immortal Emperor and the Destiny Ancestor Beast were not flying. Zuyun was slightly confused, and crouched down, looking down from a high position, and saw the Immortal Emperor in front, and the Destiny Beast behind, and they were about 30 feet away. He estimated that with his realm, he was still within his range. Seeing that they stopped at this time, it seemed that he could wait and see. Sure enough, the voice of the Immortal Emperor also came. "Why are you in a hurry? I need to find a way to return to the Immortal Mansion. When you see the trial platform, you will naturally believe me." Hearing the Immortal Emperor mention the trial platform, Zuyun immediately understood that the Destiny Ancestral Beast was lured by this trial platform. The ancestor of the Lin family also said before that he would return the trial platform to the Destiny Beast clan. But just when he was slightly distracted, he saw that the Immortal Emperor suddenly pinched out a fairy formula in his hand, and a fairy light quietly flew towards the Destiny Ancestral Beast. This fairy light was close to the ground, and the Destiny Ancestral Beast was huge, but he didn't notice it. Zuyun was horrified. He wanted to shout to warn, but he was afraid that something strange would happen and the Destiny Ancestor Beast would be hit. What frightened him even more was that the fairy light was close to the ground. He always felt familiar with it, as if he had seen it somewhere before. But at this time, Zuyun also knew that he could not delay any longer. If the Destiny Ancestor Beast was hit, the consequences would be extremely serious. Thinking of this, Zuyun stood up without hesitation and punched in the air. Suzaku Fist. The 4 Divine Beast Fists, the Suzaku is the fastest. The majestic chaos force condensed from Zuyun's body, rushed out of the fist, and quickly turned into the same size as the Destiny Ancestor Beast, and flew down from the top of the cliff. The momentum was huge, and it also attracted the Immortal Emperor and the Destiny Ancestral Beast. Zuyun is here. The Destiny Ancestral Beast's heart suddenly shook, and he suddenly came back to his senses. At the same time, his expression suddenly changed, and he stood up as if he remembered something. The fairy light just appeared at his feet, and it was already in vain. Damn it! The Immortal Emperor's move failed, and Zuyun ruined his good deeds, so he couldn't help but become furious. He raised his 2 fingers, and the fairy light suddenly turned into a black light and met Suzaku. "It's you that damn it!" Zuyun did not dare to neglect, his expression was extremely solemn. Although he knew that the Immortal Emperor was only one of the 3 souls, he still felt strongly uneasy in this space. "Wish Yun be careful." After the Destiny Ancestral Beast took to the air, it also flapped its wings and flew towards Zuyun. And the black light broke through Suzaku, and the chaotic power suddenly turned into spiritual power and dissipated in the heaven and earth, and then turned towards Zuyun Fei. So fast. Zuyun's expression changed drastically. He finally knew where the crisis came from. Although the way of heaven in this world is not complete, it is the basic way of heaven. But it is comparable to the fairy world. The Immortal Emperor will not be restricted by realm at all. Even if he is only one of the 3 remaining souls, he is still an extreme threat to Zuyun. Seeing the black light coming, when Zuyun couldn't escape at all, the Destiny Ancestral Beast suddenly flapped its wings, and a strong wind flew Zuyun away before the black light. Zuyun fell down in embarrassment, but managed to avoid the black light's attack. After getting up, Zuyun ran towards the boundary of his own universe without hesitation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the Immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1529. Want to run? It's too late. Nangong Tianli's eyes flashed fiercely, and his two fingers spread apart suddenly. The black light actually split into two, one chasing Zhu Yun, while the other penetrated into the ground. Zhu Yun, run quickly, run back to the world of the universe. The Destiny ancestral beast let out a hysterical roar, as if he recognized the magical power of the magic and knew the horror within it. After he roared, his whole body exploded and split into 12 demon saints. Stand up as a demon and give Zhu Yun a chance to breathe. Longwu roared, and the 12 demonic lights suddenly fell at fixed positions, just in the middle before the black light separated. The power of destiny, the 12 demon positions, destroy him. Longwu vomited blood and spoke. Suddenly, the black light was cut off like a substance. The black light was immediately affected. It was originally a smooth fairy technique. Nangong Tianli centered on himself and continuously provided the black light with fairy power, so that the black light could keep stretching to pursue Zhu Yun. But after Longwu was cut off from the middle, the two black lights that were about to attack Zhu Yun from front to back were naturally unable to continue. Not only did the light become weaker, but the speed also slowed down a lot. This allowed Zhu Yun to return to his own part of the universe. But at this moment, he heard Longwu's extremely deep voice. I didn't expect you to be able to use the magical powers of extraterrestrial demons. However, the next moment, Zhu Yun's back foot also crossed the boundary. Not only could he not hear Longwu's voice, but when he turned back, he could not see any light or shadow at all. In front of them, there was still the desolate land, but Longwu and the other 11 demon saints could not be seen. And the same is true for that black light. Because the ways of heaven are different, they are merged together. You can only see the other side by stepping over. A thought flashed through Zhu Yun's mind, but it was quickly filled by Longwu's last words. What Nangong Tianli finally used was the magic power of the demon from outside the territory. Could it be said that Nangong Tianli is not a human race, but an extraterrestrial demon? No, that's not right. Nangong Tianli can also use sorcery. When the immortal formation trapped him earlier, he used spiritual power, and demonic energy to deal with it. In an instant, an incredible thought flashed through Zhu Yun's mind. Nightmare, nightmare. Could it be that Nangong Tianli, the southern immortal emperor of the human race in the immortal realm? After thinking about it carefully, Zhu Yun felt chills all over his body. But at this moment, a black light suddenly jumped across the border and appeared in Zhu Yun's field of vision. But then, the black light seemed to be affected by invisible force, but quickly disappeared. Looking at the sun shining down, Zhu Yun suddenly raised his head. That power exceeds the limits of the heavenly world of the universe, so naturally it cannot exist here. The voice of the incarnation of chaos sounded, and cold sweat broke out on Zhu Yun's back. Fortunately it came in time. Otherwise, if he comes slowly, if he wants to find Nangong Tianli again, he may have gone deep into the fragmented space that belongs to him. Even if you want to run away then, there is nothing you can do. I thought I had a chance to win, but I didn't expect that I almost lost it. Only the 12 demon saints don't know what's going on. Zhu Yun was worried and wanted to go over and have a look, but Nangong Tianli and the 12 demon saints were nowhere to be seen at this time. Although that space was presented before his eyes, all he could see was barren land. Who knew if Nangong Tianli was waiting behind the border? Zhu Yun, are you here? At this time, the voice of the formation immortal came from the air behind him. Immediately afterwards, a dark shadow appeared from the ground, and Zhou Pao and Zhou Gun suddenly appeared in front of him. Nangong Tianli is over there, the Destiny ancestral beast, doesn't know whether to live or die. Zhu Yun said expressionlessly. What? The formation immortal couldn't help but be shocked. He could clearly feel that there was a gap between the heaven and earth over there and the universe. What shocked him was that the life and death of the Destiny Ancestral Beast was unknown. The Destiny Ancestral Beast is trying to save me, Zuyun took a deep breath and said, after I ran here, Nangong Tianli couldn't do anything to me, but I couldn't go there to know the situation of the Destiny Ancestral Beast. The Formation Immortal thought deeply and said, then we know that the Destiny Ancestral Beast is actually not that far away. Yes, no more than 100 steps away. I have a way, the Formation Immortal raised his head and said, I just need you to guard here to prevent Nangong Tianli from coming to sneak attack. Although he is a remnant soul, his strength will be limited in the universe world, but if he sneaks up on me, I might die here too. Zuyun also knew that if something happened to the Formation Immortal, there would be nothing he could do to Nangong Tianli. He pondered for a moment, then looked up at Yang Huo, then nodded and said, okay. Now I just want to know the situation of the Destiny Ancestral Beast. Good. The Formation Immortal simply agreed and said, the method I mentioned is to use the power of the source to erode the past, so I can't move. If Nangong Tianli attacks me head-on, I won't be able to deal with it. So Zuyun, I need you. Protect me. If something happens to me, you will know the consequences. Of course I know, don't worry. No one wants to kill Nangong Tianli more than me. Zuyun had never had such an idea before. It can be speculated that Nangong Tianli may be the queen of nightmares. Then leave it to you. The immortal didn't say any nonsense, just sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. He began to mobilize the original power of the universe world, preparing to swallow and merge the space over there. Zhou Gun, Zhou Pao, you protect me for a while. Zuyun's eyes flashed, and he took out a handful of spirit beads from the ring. He needed to use all his means to protect the Formation Fairy. Whether it was him or the Formation Fairy, the Immortal Emperor also wished that they would die. At this time, Zuyun could not hide his weakness at all. It was just strange that Zuyun could not control the power of the Immortal Palace. Otherwise, there would definitely be unexpected results. Zhou Gun stood in front of the Formation Fairy with a spear in his hand. Zhou Pao controlled his Yin Immortal root and swallowed the two directly into the darkness. If you don't look carefully, you won't find anyone here. And then, Zuyun sprinkled the spirit beads one by one. He used all wood spirit beads. To set up the Dozhuan Xinyi formation, spirit beads of the same attribute are needed. Wood is the main source of life, and it is more vital, and it is close to the power of the origin. Zuyun would naturally choose this one. But he didn't know that at the border, Nangong Tianli was looking over from the other side from time to time. Zuyun was completely unaware, and this scene was all in Yang Huo's eyes. But Zuyun's eyes did not meet Yang Huo's, and the Chaos Incarnation could not inform Zuyun of this news, and he was also very anxious. This boy is setting up the formation, and it seems to be somewhat similar to the star formation of the Formation Fairy, but it is different in essence. And, he uses the spirit beads to set up the formation, which is also ingenious. Nangong Tianli retracted his head again, thinking whether to kill Zuyun first, or the Formation Fairy first. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1530. Zuyun took away his immortal mansion, this is an undoubted fact. If he kills Zuyun and regains the immortal mansion, he will have a way out. But if he kills the Formation Immortal first, then he will gain such a level of the universe, and his strength will skyrocket, and his body with the remnant soul will become more stable. At the same time, what made him even more excited was that there were many types of powers in the universe. This was quite contemptuous of him. Let alone 3 heads and 6 arms, it is very likely to become 7 heads and 14 arms in the future. Nangong Tianli's eyes flashed, but he wasn't too worried. Behind him are 12 huge stone sculptures. In order to delay Zuyun, the 12 demon saints were attacked by Nangong Tianli. The black light turned them into stone sculptures. What makes Nangong Tianli slightly dissatisfied is that instead of turning the Destiny Ancestral Beast into a stone sculpture, he can completely control the Destiny Ancestral Beast with his own method of controlling beasts. Among the 12 demon saints, the strongest is only Long Wu, but he has not yet reached the Great Dao, and is still an ordinary demon beast. Even if he fused with the 7 Dragon Balls, he still couldn't get into Nangong Tianli's eyes. I wish I had known to take action first, and I wouldn't have known whether to take action first, Zuyun or Formation Immortal. Nangong Tianli muttered, and then decided to go back to the Immortal Mansion to have a look according to the previous plan. However, he needs to find the weak point of the Immortal Mansion before passing through this world. After taking a deep look behind him, he turned and left. But similarly, Zuyun can't see this side, and he can't see what's going on in the Dazhu world. Unless you poke your head over the edge. Nangong Tianli left, and Zuyun didn't know it. After he arranged all the spirit beads, he could already see a layer of original power floating on the ground where he stood. It seems that when the tide begins to rise in the shallows of the coast, the power of the source is like sea water, constantly eroding away in that direction. A wave rushed towards the border and was quickly rebounded by the fault on the border, but soon, the subsequent source power would beat back the retreated source power. Like ocean waves. Wave after wave of power was superimposed, and Zuyun saw that the boundary was slowly advancing. He could already see a small stretch of desolation over there. I don't know how much time passed. Suddenly, half of the standing stones appeared in front of them. This is. Zuyun clearly remembered that it was a flat land, and beyond that was an isolated cliff. But at this time, no one answered for him. He could only wait quietly for the original power to slowly advance, and finally reveal the true appearance of the stone. It turns out, it is a stone sculpture of a demon saint. Rabbit demon saint. The slender ears above the head, even though their backs were facing him, proved the identity of the stone sculpture. Zuyun felt like he was struck by lightning. His hands were helpless on the stone carvings, tears flowed down uncontrollably, and a kind of sadness filled his whole body. The rabbit demon saint is like this, presumably the other demon saints have also turned into stone sculptures. Zuyun murmured, sitting slumped on the ground, letting the power of the source pass over him, slowly revealing the entire stone sculpture of the rabbit demon saint. The stone sculpture was lifeless, and Zuyun was sure that the rabbit demon saint was completely dead. But there was nothing he could do. But soon, Zuyun cheered up. He was worried that Nangong Tianli might be hiding somewhere, waiting to take action. Maybe it's against him, maybe it's against Xian. In order not to affect the original power of the Formation Immortal Envoy, Zuyun did not run the star movement formation. Therefore, he must be fully attentive and ready. But with the appearance of another demon saint stone sculpture, Zuyun burst into tears again. Snake demon saint, Lao Jin. This demon saint, who had known him for a long time and was the first to recognize him as his master, was also lying on the ground, with his curved figure, high snake head, spitting snake letters, and his angry eyes. Apparently before he turned into a stone sculpture, he was still fighting for Zuyun's chance of survival. If there is still a chance, I will never let you die. Rabbit Saint, Lao Jin, and a group of demon saints, I will kill Nangong Tianli with my own hands to pay homage to you. Zuyun was extremely angry and turned his grief and anger into motivation. He no longer moved forward along the border, but stood where he was. His mind was as calm as ever, just like the sea of the world that was not affected by wind and waves. Gradually, one after another, the stone sculptures of demon saints are revealed. The last one to appear was Dragon Demon Saint, Long Wu. His eyes widened with anger and he stared into the distance. Zuyun still didn't move, completely raising his mind. It wasn't until the original power advanced to the cliff that Zuyun felt a ripple in his heart. Nangong Tianli, left. He frowned. He should be able to guess that the formation Immortal can use the original power to fuse these fragments, right? Then, it doesn't make any sense where he goes, unless he can return to the Immortal Mansion. Should I go back to the Immortal Mansion to see it, or should I wait for the formation Immortal to integrate the entire universe? For a moment, Zuyun also hesitated. But after thinking for a long time, he decided to stay. If Nangang Tianli returns to the Immortal Mansion, he will probably die as well. Although the Immortal Mansion is already under his control, the heavenly way of the Immortal Mansion is complete and is at a higher level than the Great Universe World, so Nangang Tianli's realm will not be affected at all. At that time, it was still me who died. Only the Great Universe World can pull Nangang Tianli to the same level as himself. Moreover, he has reinforcements and the countless creatures of the Great Universe World. Thinking of this, Zuyun decided to stay. About an hour later, there was a noisy movement behind him. He did not look back, knowing that the reinforcements from the World Mountain had arrived. Xiaohuo and Sangu led countless 12 monsters through the teleportation array and found this place. After discovering that the 12 monster saints had all turned into stone sculptures, the monsters almost lost their minds and roared wildly. If Zuyun had not blocked them, these monsters would have rushed up. Zuyun still did not move, and the momentum behind him was getting bigger and bigger. Not long after, countless immortal officials also rushed here. There were also cultivators from the spiritual world. It can be said that all the creatures that were originally ambushed on the side of the world tree have all come. At this time, the monsters also calmed down. There was silence all around. Zuyun did not step forward until the power of the array Immortal had spread to more than 10 miles below the cliff. From a high vantage point, he could see the whole world. And he suddenly remembered his Chaos Avatar and looked up. His eyes met the sunlight, and the Chaos Avatar passed all the information into Zuyun's brain. Knowing that Nangang Tianli had been observing his actions, Zuyun's pupils suddenly shot out a brilliant light. In this case, there is only one possibility: Nangang Tianli wants to find a way to return to the Immortal Mansion. The Immortal Mansion is under my control, and the possibility of him returning to the Immortal Mansion is extremely small. In this case, I will win in a safe way, and when the array Immortal completely merges the Great Universe World, then he will have no place to hide in this world.